Welcome to It's Candy, where we tell spooky stories and haunted history. Stories that I found on the internet that spooked me, but in a good way. Let's get into it.
What's up, you guys? It's your favorite storyteller. It's Candy coming at you with another one. Today, we're going to be talking about the Mulatto Axe murders. Now, this is going to be the story about Clementine Barnabet. Now, she was born in 1895 at St. Martinsville, Louisiana, to parents Raymond Barnabet and Nina Port. Some research papers that I found said Dina, but the majority of them said Nina, so I'll keep it as that. She had two brothers and a half sister. The sister Pauline moved away once she got married. Her father was a sharecropper and petty criminal who reportedly abused the family. They moved to Lafayette, Louisiana in 1909. On November 13, 1909, a family by the name of, I'm going to butcher this, Opalosis was found murdered by an axe in their home in Rain, Louisiana. It was a mother and her four children. Crazy, right? He just moved to Louisiana and then the family all of a sudden unalive, you know? Now, on January 24th, 1911, the Byers family in Crowley, Louisiana was slain in their home by an axe. It was a family of three, a father, a mother, and one child. Then on February 24th, 1911, just a month later, the Andrus family, who were neighbors of the Barnabet, were also found unalived in their home by, you guessed it, an axe. Now, just 2 days later, the Lafayette Parish Sheriff, Louise LaCosta, arrested Raymond Barnabet on suspicion of the murder because of talk around the town of his criminal activities and his mistress implicating him in the crime, and his son, Zephyr, and daughter Clementine, both saying that he came home that night covered in blood and brain matter. He was released due to insufficient evidence within a week, but he was rearrested in July after the two kids went to court and testified about their claim. Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I know y'all are like, Candace, you're just jumping straight into it. You know what's up. The truth is, I really didn't find any type of research about their early lives, the kids, the dad, I mean, the mom. I didn't find anything about the early life, too much. But let's go. Nina, the mom, contradicted the kid's testimony, saying that she saw him that night. He had nothing on him, nor was he ever boasting about doing it to anyone, as the kids also said. She did attest to his violent tendencies, though, and stated that he had previously threatened to unalive her. It's like, why you even open your mouth if you was still going to say something against him, So there was a family that lived in a home also with them. They were named Stephen. Now, they also said that he didn't have any blood or guts on him when he came home. Now, upon speaking of Raymond, he stated that he was at Broussard the night they were unalived, which I'm assuming was like a bar. This time he was convicted of the unaliving of the Andrus family, though, on October 19, 1911, and received capital punishment by hanging. Dang. Okay. Now, you can't say you was drunk from a bar and that meant you couldn't have done it without allowing someone to see you that can place you there. Crazy. Now, upon reaching the verdict, though, Raymond loudly uttered the words goodbye and mo futu, which means I'm done for in Creole. On the other hand, Raymond's attorney was successful in filing an appeal with the reason that their client couldn't make a defense plea on the account of being drunk from a smuggled bottle of wine after the verdict. But of course, he was held in jail pending a new trial. Now, pause. I don't know about this one, you guys, because all of a sudden, the kids are conspiring against the dad and saying he did this when the mom said no. And then the other family that stayed in the house also said, no, he didn't come in the house like that. And then he was a criminal, petty thief, I guess, and a drunk. So why was the kids trying to get rid of the daddy? You know what I mean? Is it because of his violent outbursts, how he treated the family? So fortunately for Raymond, while he was imprisoned, yet another family was unalived by now. They were the Randall family. They were 4 members of the family. It's sad to say fortunately because, y'all know what I mean. Now, everything about this unaliving was similar to all the rest of it. But for this one, Clementine, his daughter, who only lived a few blocks away as a live-in housekeeper for another family named Idri, was arrested on suspicion of the unaliving due to the proximity, first off, And secondly, after finding blood on a back entry gate of the Guidry residence and further inspection of her home to where they found more blood on her apron, dress, and some underwear. Now, if that don't beat all, right? The drones. Wow. But girl, as quick as you try to pin something on your daddy, you gonna go and do an unaliving and then leave behind all that evidence. What a little dummy, you know? So the police didn't feel like it could have been a member of the Guidry family since them and the Randalls were so close. The mothers were both deaconess at the same congregation. Of course, Clementine denied it, but her and some of her friends were arrested. Why lock up friends though, right? Maybe they thought she needed help. A physician confirmed that the blood and guts was human and also matched the blood found on a pillowcase that was in the Andrus' home that helped the dad's name get cleared. So during her trial, she was acting erratic. She was rocking back and forth while laughing in her chair. Like, girl, don't be trying to go for that insanity plea, okay? She went ahead and admitted to her role in the unaliving, saying, quote, I am the woman of the sacrifice sect. I killed them all, the men, women, and babies, and I hugged the dead bodies to my heart, end quote. Just crazy, right? But she was saying that she did it under the orders of the Church of Sacrifice, which is an alleged offshoot of a Christ Sanctified Holy Church congregation in Lake Charles, Louisiana. She said she had committed 10 unalivings because the families had refused to obey messages from God. How do you know what message they received from God, crazy girl? She also stated she acted alongside a couple of accomplices. Then she admitted to the first unaliving I told y'all about in Rain, Louisiana earlier, while visiting her sister Pauline, who had moved away when she had got married. Then on January 19th, 1912, while Clementine was in jail, y'all. Hold on. The corpses of Marie Warner and her 3 children were found in Crowley, Louisiana, unalive with an axe in her home. Now, despite the brother Zephron's alibi, police went ahead and arrested him, assuming that he was carrying and or sister's wishes. I still say his father because even though you would have thought his name was cleared by now, they still didn't let him out because at this point, the police think that the whole family was nuts and was going around unaliving people. But that very same night, Felix Bouchard, Bouchard, the owner of the bar, I'm guessing, his wife and 3 children were unalived by axe and found in their home in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Now, I know y'all are all thinking, how? But remember, Clementine said it was an unknown number of accomplices doing all of this. Now, at the Bouchard house, someone had written on the wall in pencil, Human 5, as well as a verse from the 9th Psalm, as misquoted from the book Uncle Tom's Cabin, end quote. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he forgiveth not the cry of the humble, end quote. Now, I wonder why they killed Broussard. Is it because the dad went to his bar and a bunch of people could have been witnesses or whatever? But that wouldn't have made any difference, right? Because they already said that the daddy was lying. So anyway, from the time Clementine was arrested up until January 1912, they arrested several more suspects. Her brother Zephron, 2 men named Edwin Charles and Gregory Porter, who were both with Barnabet the night of the Randall murders, and Reverend King Harrison, also known as King Harris, who led the original church branch in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So y'all telling me the whole church, like all the members, what kind of mess was they on, By the end of January, the unalivings of 26 Black Louisiana residents were attributed to the Church of Sacrifices as a ritualistic human sacrifice without evidence. Since there seemed to be a lot of members doing the unalivings, it was still going on while the family was locked up. Clementine, little crazy self, recanted her her confession after the hearing. But ma'am, it's too late now. On April 2nd, 1912, she confessed once again, this time adding that she was involved in 35 unalivings and said that 17 of them she used her own hands. Then said, no, it was 20. Now, remember I told y'all she would caress their bodies and hold their head to her chest. Remember she said that? Well, only one case showed that the corpse had been moved post-mortem, unless she was doing that while they were still breathing. She also stated that she acquired conjure bags, which we know are good luck charms in the Hoodoo religion, that would grant her supernatural powers, her and her accomplices, and make them undetectable to the authority. I guess this was, their protection or whatever. So this is what she said led to her doing the first unalivings, because she wanted to test whether or not the claim of magical protection was true or not. Now, she also claimed that the church sacrifice gave them to her, then turned around and said she purchased them from a hoodoo doctor in New Imbria with 4 of her accomplices. She was already all over the place, but nuts to say the least, you guys. Her second confession contained lurid details, but wasn't consistent, though, with crime scene records. Like I said, y'all, she was all over the place and she was crazy. She also claimed that she entered through the people's front doors, but in this case, a back window had been used during the unalivings of the Randall family. They said she was very self-contradictory and would change details too much. Now, it sounds like she was trying to take credit for all of them, but the question is, why was she trying to take credit for all of the unalivings? Was she trying to say, oh, she was bigger than everybody, she was more powerful or something? Anyway, they wound up releasing her brother Zephyrin because Clementine confessed to the Burchard unalivings. I guess she didn't want a brother in there. But she clearly couldn't have done it because she was locked up, right? But like I said, I guess she was protecting her brother, and they believed her because at least they had somebody, right? I still wouldn't have let that fool out, though, because he was just as crazy as, all of them. Anyway, while she awaited her trial in October, axe murders continued to take place in Texas, Mississippi. They never was solved either. Now, remember, I did say earlier that it was a couple of people. It was pretty much a whole congregation. Okay. Now, the crimes in Louisiana did cease. I guess, they moved on. Now, one of the last to be reported was on November 23rd, 1912, and it was about William Esley, his wife, and their son being found unalive by axe in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Now, the trial began October 21st, 1912, for all these unalivings that happened in Louisiana. Clementine had an attorney. His name was John L. Kennedy, and he tried to state that her confessions were unreliable and a result of her abusive childhood, while also questioning the reliability of the forensic methods used to match the blood found on her clothes, when she did the Andrews family unalive. A team of court physicians deemed her morally depraved, unusually ignorant, of a low grade of mentality, but not deficient in such a manner as to constitute her an imbecile or damn. So basically, they said she dumb as hell, but sane enough to commit the act. Wow. On October 25th, she was convicted of the unaliving of the Randall family and was sentenced to life in Louisiana State Penitentiary. Then she escaped jail on July 31st, 1913 for a few hours, but was caught. Girl, while she was in there, they say she was a model inmate and worked on the sugarcane field starting in 1918. They did wind up releasing her on August 28, 1923, after an unspecified surgical operation was believed to have cured her. Not a lobotomy, they say. It was some other kind of procedure. Now, what other kind of procedure other than a lobotomy, right? I don't know. They was doing some crazy stuff back then. So after her release, no knowledge exists of her whereabouts. I'm sure she changed her name, which was easily done back then, but
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming at you from It's Candy.